Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role, and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. Welcome to A Leader's Journey. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond, and I'm glad to have you back here with me this week on the podcast. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. I want to give you a big high five for taking the time to invest in your development as a leader, and I'm grateful that you've chosen to spend some of that time here with me today. When we talk about leadership development, we talk a lot about the skills, the knowledge, the processes, etc., that you need to learn in order to be successful. All of those are extremely important, and they are a necessity to achieving success and being effective as a leader. Yet there is another aspect that we don't talk about enough, and that is the environment that we are in. Your environment is just as important as your skills. And I would even make the argument to say that the environment that you are in is actually what allows you to showcase your skills. It's what allows you to learn and grow in different skills. It's what allows your skills to actually be effective. When we're in that right environment, it just amplifies our knowledge, our skills, and everything that we have learned. Now, I want you to think back to a time when you felt great and confident. You probably knew the content that you were talking about. You were prepared for that conversation. And if you really think about it, you were also in an environment that was right for you, an environment that nurtures your fulfillment and allows you to be at your best, an environment that supported you, where you felt relaxed and you were able to get in like a state of flow just to be your natural self and just be as you are. You weren't trying to be performative or fit into a box or a mold that somebody else was telling you that you had to be able to fit in. You were just you. So today I want to talk about two different environments. Now, there are environments that are reflected in our human design when we start studying that. And they will tell you that the type of environment that you best thrive in, that really nurtures your fulfillment. And while this is a more complex aspect of human design, I'm just going to touch on it at a high level because I've noticed some things shift for myself as I was really looking back at the environments that I've been in. Now, again, when I learned about this for myself, I was actually quite surprised. I initially thought, and as I looked back on my leadership journey, I thought that the environments where I thrived in were very structured, logical, competitive. And then when I saw the environment in my design, it was the opposite. What? How could that even be? Right? It made no sense for me. And so I had to really take a moment, and when I really started to take the time and look back on my experiences, and this is again where journaling has really helped me do this, and I really contemplated when I felt like me, when I was in that natural state of flow, and I noticed that the structured logical environment, that wasn't it. It actually kind of sheltered me a little bit and it confined me a little bit more, and I wasn't as natural as I really needed to be. So, as we talk through this today, I'm going to share some things with you, and I want to encourage you to make some notes. I want you to really look back and see, where did you truly thrive? Not necessarily where you got recognition for something that you've done, but look more into your heart and how it is that you felt. A lot of times we get recognized for things that we did well, and that's great, yet they weren't in alignment for us. The aftermath or the after effects of that, you maybe it put us in a state of burnout. Maybe it exhausted us for the day. Maybe we were in a high place of anxiety or stress throughout the whole thing. And yes, it turned out good, but we didn't feel good about it. So when you're looking back on your experiences, when you're thinking about where it is that you thrive, really think a lot about not only your level of execution in that moment, but how did you feel before, during, and after? Now, if you're interested to see what's in your design, shoot me a message and I'll get you set up with your own unique human design chart that can share a little bit about this with you. Now, again, I will tell you, this is one of the more complex aspects of it. And so it's going to require definitely more study to understand it and a lot more contemplation on it. So let's talk about the 2 different environments. There's one environment that really is more of the observed environment. It's something that's really engaging and has this, energetic presence to it, right? It's where an environment where you're, consistently actively engaged. It's very stimulating, and it's encouraging a lot of participation in all these dynamic interactions. Right? Another piece of that environment is much more of that structured, logical setting, right? Where you benefit from that clear, organized spaces that really support your thinking and being able to think more rationally, and creates a place where you can approach different situations or projects in this more methodical, step by step, this analytical type mindset. I think of, for me, when I look at a leadership role, if you're a big piece of your role might be diving into data and analytics, and you've got to follow this step by step process to be able to pull all of this information together. That's what that logical environment, that analytical environment looks like. It's also an environment where it can be very competitive and very goal oriented, right? They It's an environment that really challenges you to set and achieve your goals, right? It's fueling your ambition, it's driving you to excel, it's putting you outside of your comfort zone and really is causing you to really push your limits. Right. I think in a leadership role for me, yes, you're always going to set goals. And no matter what environment that you are in, you do need to have goals. But this is more of that um, structured goal environment versus more of maybe a collaborative goal environment where you're working on things that are much more individual focused versus things that are team focused, where you might be partnering and collaborating with somebody else. It's also an environment where you have to uh, analyze information and details very, very closely, right? And they're critical, like, the fruit is in the details of everything that you do, and you've really gotta dig deep down into the nuance of it, right? It's having that, sharp focus that helps you get the breakthroughs and the insights that you need. It's that focusing on all these little details to really help you effectively and efficiently solve problems, right? And again, it's all of these things tying together. So you have this very structured, analytical, competitive, detail focused work. It reminds me of like math problems growing up as a kid. In a leadership role, again, it might be in a data analytics department. It might be maybe more in an IT where you have this little bit of structure and you've really got to get down into the nuance of it. That's one type of environment, right? And so you might be a person that thrives in that. And again, I thought I was because I do like structure. I like having my planners. I like having my calendars updated. I'm very goal oriented. I do have a bit of a competitive nature and I always want to do well. And getting down into the details of things is something that I'm actually really good at. Yet again, when I took a step back and I started looking at that, those things take a lot of energy for me. They take a lot of my physical and mental resources. And when I've spent my time focused on those tasks or been in that type of environment, my energy got drained very quickly because it wasn't allowing me to be more natural. I was trying to fit into something and trying to adjust how I actually naturally work. Now, all right, so let's talk about the opposite environment and what that looks like. That is more of the observer environment where you are observing what is going on around you. It's more of this receptive and flexible type environment where it's very open and adaptable and really allows you just to be you and just show up naturally as who you are without having this very rigid set of structure or expectations that are placed upon you. It's a more calm and intuitive environment where you really benefit from being able to lean into your intuition and trust your gut, right? Connect with your instincts and what that inner guidance is telling you, you instead of having to follow the set procedures, right? And having to go step by step. You can really just take it one step at a time, but just letting your gut and your intuition kind of guide you through what that looks like. It's more of a collaborative and supportive environment where it really encourages that teamwork, that connection with others, where it's really being able to have that really is ideal and allows you to be able to engage in really meaningful, supportive interactions with other people. I think back for myself, I know that I definitely strive or thrive in an area where I can have those meaningful interactions. Yes, I do like a little bit of structure, but I do better more in that free flow type conversation where I can just kind of trust my gut and go with what comes up for me versus trying to make sure that I'm saying the right thing, doing the right thing. Let's dot these I's. I've got to be better than this person, you and what they said, I have to be able to top that, right? I don't really like to be in that environment. And I know that I'm not the sharpest or myself when I'm in that environment. Yet when I can really just connect with others and really step into that meaningful conversation, that makes a big difference for me, right? If I think back to like the environments, in the workplace that people work best or, I know that for me, a lot of it is that one-to-one conversation. right? I know that for me, quality time makes a difference. And if I'm in an environment where I get that quality time and that's what that meaningful supportive interaction is, I know that I do better. Yet if I'm in an environment where I'm not going to get that quality time with another person, it's unsettling a little bit for me. I don't feel as connected to other people. I don't feel like I'm showing up as my best when I'm more isolated in it. This other environment really is one where people flourish, where in environments where they can resonate with their own individual values and principles, where those are the forefront of how not just that person is showing up and interacting, but everybody around them. When you're in a group of people or in an environment that aligns with your values, you know that you just naturally feel better, right? It's this type of environment where honesty and integrity is a key component of it, right? Where there is fairness and allowing everybody to just authentically be themselves, and that's expected, right? It's respected. Nobody's expecting you to be something else other than you. You know, they want you to show up as you because they know when you do, that's how you're going to contribute best and add value to all of them. So it's more of a free flow type of environment where you do again have those much more collaborative and supportive spaces around you, and versus being in that more structured, competitive, goal-oriented type of environment. Now, this type of environment, like I said, is the one that shows up for me in my design of being again in those calm, intuitive spaces where I can collaborate and support others, but also be supported by others. And when I, again, first was learning about this for myself, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know. I'm a rule follower at heart. I am definitely more structured. I like to know what I'm gonna do, when I'm gonna do it. I'm very driven by my calendar." And as I dig a little bit deeper into the different aspects of my design, and this is just being one of them, when I can let go of some of that structure for myself, there's a balance in it, right? Because there's other aspects of my design where I say I need a little bit, but not something that is very rigid, right? And as I thought back over my leadership experiences and even just some of my own personal experiences, I do thrive better in those environments where it's not very rigid, right? If I'm gonna have to do things a very specific way and I don't get to exercise my own thought processes or tap into my own intuition or, trust just those spidey senses that say, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. Let's try this and let's see how this goes." And really, if I don't get to lean into what I've learned about myself is I learn a lot through trial and error. So if I don't get to lean into that trial and error, which is what this environment that I'm meant to be in is really a lot about, is that collaboration, the trial and error. Let's kind of work through things and trust our gut as we go. If I don't get to work in that environment and I don't get to tap into being able to experiment with how I'm going to do something, I don't show up well. I don't get as good of a result as I wanted to. I don't feel good about it. I get a little bit more cranky. I get caught up in this is the rules and this is what we have to do. And I lose a little bit of my innovation when I'm in that type of environment that's really structured. So for myself, of really leaning into this and stepping into, okay, if I'm thinking about the places that I am, how can I create that calm, intuitive space? And some of that is how you have your desk set up, right? It might be, do you have everything in a certain place in a certain way on your desk? Or is it a little bit more free flow where you can move things around and have things that come in front of you that support your innovative thinking, right? That spark some really good insights for you. So it's all in looking at one, yes, your physical environment. Like, where are you sitting? What does your desk space look like? Your office space look like? It's also about the things and the stuff that is around you and how is that supporting you. A big part of your environment though too is the people that you're around, right? I know for myself, I don't work as well when I'm in that very rigid structured. I need to be around more collaborative people, right? Because I want to get deep into the conversation. I just don't want to sit there and say, okay, this is the way, and there's no room for discussion on it. Well, I wanna talk about it, right? Like, let's collaborate and make sure that whatever we're gonna move forward with really is the best way for it. So I've learned to really lean into that, and again, it's given me a lot more energy back. I've shifted the way that I set up my desk. I really think about the people that I partner with on projects, and as I'm assembling some project team, both environments are needed, so I need some of those very structured, analytical, detail-focused people. Yet I also know that I've gotta have a little bit more of those collaborative people in the project who are going to allow me to really talk through my thoughts, who I'm gonna be able to hear them and give them the space to talk through their thoughts so we can be really working together on it. So those are the things that I learned about environment, right? And how it really does make a difference for you as a leader and for you to be most effective and show up more naturally as you. The environment that you are in makes a difference. So as you think through this, what came up for you, right? Did you resonate with more of the structured spaces, or do you resonate with more of the intuitive style places, right? Are you more analytical or are you more emotionally aligned? Again, there is no right or wrong answer. It's what works best for you. And I want to encourage you as you are looking out to your future leadership roles. These might be questions that you want to ask in the interview process, or even before you get to the interview process, as you're exploring other roles. Think about the environment that those roles exist in. And is that environment going to complement you and your leadership? Or is it going to be a conflict for you where it might create some issues and some challenges that will be a little bit more difficult for you to work through and overcome, that might be roadblocks that don't allow you to be at your best, right? Explore those things. Make sure that as you're looking at roles, you're choosing the ones that have the environment that really are going to allow you to thrive, that will allow you to be you, and that will allow you to lead from one of the most authentic places and a place that is going to support you throughout your leadership journey. All right, my friends, I appreciate you tuning in this week, and I would love for you to tune in with me each week here on the podcast as we're going to discuss the strategies, the development items, and the mindsets that new leaders need to leverage to be able to step confidently into the right leadership roles for them. If you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, please do so today. You can also join my email list where I'll personally notify you when a new episode is published. Plus, you'll get some additional leadership insights that you won't find anywhere else that are thoughtful, practical, and just for you. Until next time, my fellow leaders, lead with confidence. Show up every day as the leader that you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year. Thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.